Studying abroad in Mexico City was the best decision I've ever taken in my entire life. Throughout 6 months, I experienced a completely different culture. I experienced a completely different life. I met a complete new group of people. And in a way, I changed my life forever. So in this video, I would like to talk about my experiences of studying abroad and what kind of advice I could give if you plan to study abroad in Mexico or in any other country. You know, my university allowed us to go or to apply to 2 universities in Mexico, one of them being Monterrey and one of them being UNAM in Mexico City. And actually, I applied for the Monterrey one, but I didn't get accepted. So I settled with the UNAM University. But in hindsight, I'm so happy that I went to UNAM because UNAM has so many things that I think are better than the Monterrey University. First of all, UNAM is in Mexico City, which I think is one of the best cities in the entire world. For me, it's the best city I've ever seen, and this for me is already a plus for UNAM. Another reason is also that in Monterrey, there are 3 different campuses or 3 different university campuses, and all of them are more or less filled with international people, right? Like me. In UNAM, that's not the case. I think I was with one other guy, the only guys from Europe. There were some guys like from Colombia or Venezuela or something like this, but from Europe there were almost none in UNAM. And I think that's super cool because what I don't like about Monterrey and what many people told me about is that there can be some bubbles of international people. So the international people more or less hang out with international people. And this is something I would never want because I want to hang out with people that I've never been around before. So in this case, Mexican people. And I don't want to go to a university abroad just to hang out with Europeans. So I'm so glad that I went to UNAM. What I really enjoyed was seeing the difference between education in Mexico and the Netherlands. Because I studied in the Netherlands, and in the Netherlands there's a big focus on self-learning for students. And the quality of education is quite high, so with this there's also coming a huge workload and sometimes even a lot of stress. This is the complete opposite when you come to Mexico City, because really in Mexico City you're not forced to work by yourself. You work together with your class. It's kind of like a high school feeling. And also the workload is not even comparable to the Netherlands, and I really enjoyed this because I wanted to go study abroad, not to study all day in my room, but to experience a new culture, to get new perspectives, to meet new people. For me, it was the perfect deal. Another thing that was so different is that UNAM or Mexican universities in general, they remind me of the universities you see on Nickelodeon when you were a child, like Zoe 101 or Drake and Josh, where you see like a big campus, everyone is playing football, there's like a cafeteria, like it's almost like people are living on the campus. And this kind of feeling I've never felt in Europe, but I've seen it in Mexico City. And it's a really cool thing because like the university campus is almost like a separate home. So this is something I really enjoyed, and I think it has a similar feeling to universities in the United States, even though I have no experiences with the United States, but this is how it felt like, and it was super cool, to be honest. What I want to say with this, for example, is that even when I didn't have classes, I wouldn't go home or to the city. A lot of the times I would just like hang out on the campus, talking with people, checking out events, checking out museums. There was so much to do on the campus, and the campus was so huge. And this is something I've never did in Europe. So I enjoyed this part about Mexico City a lot, and about UNAM, of course. The best thing about my study abroad, however, was meeting Mexican people. In my opinion, there are no people like Mexican people when it comes to hospitality, when it comes to being open to strangers, and when it comes to helping other people. When I got into Mexico, I was in the beginning a little bit scared because I thought, I don't know anyone here, and what if I'm not able to make any friends? What am I gonna do now? I was scared that I'm gonna spend 6 months alone. But this was a foolish fear, because just getting into the class, people were already like helping me, like, hey, who are you? What are you doing? Where are you from? And they were already like trying to show me Mexico and trying to show me their culture, and they would treat me like a friend even though they didn't know me. So making friends in Mexico was not even a slight issue. It doesn't take any time, it doesn't take any effort, it just goes like this. So to experience that, it was really special, because when you live in Germany or the Netherlands, you don't really see that a lot. I feel like the cultures in Central Europe, they are more cold towards foreigners, and they like to stay by themselves. And Mexicans are the complete opposite, you know? They are curious, they ask you things, they want to show you like Mexican food. And for me, this was such a cool experience, because I felt home even though I wasn't home. They made me feel home. And this is a feeling that I cannot emphasize more. And I'm so grateful for all the Mexicans that made me feel at home. And I never met any bad Mexicans. Of course, I know in every country there are bad people, in Mexico too. But to be honest, the people at the university that I met, they were all great. And they made me feel so appreciated, and I appreciate them too. And this is by far the best thing about my study abroad, to get into contact with these people, because how else am I gonna meet these people? You can only meet like students from another country through a study abroad. Because if you go to the country for a job, let's say I go to Mexico to work there, I would never meet these people at the university, right? But in this specific context, in these specific 6 months, you are able to meet those people. And just for this thing, it's already worth it to go study abroad. Another big reason why you should go study abroad, wherever it is, whether it's Mexico or Australia or Lithuania, is that with a big possibility, you will have one of the most exciting times in your entire life. Because you have to imagine, when again in your life will you be so young, living in a different country, studying at a different university, meeting new people every day, exploring parts of a new country? Like, when again are you gonna do this? Of course, this is possible. I will not say, oh, you have to do a study abroad to experience this. But a study abroad as a specific way to achieve this. And I will tell you this, in this life there won't be too many opportunities like that again. So if you have the opportunity and you're thinking about studying abroad, please do it. Don't think about, oh, maybe I don't like it, or maybe I just want to stay home. No, just go. And if you don't like it, you can still quit the study abroad, you know what I'm saying? But I know some people don't have the opportunity because of financial reasons, because of visa reasons, because of a specific university, and I get this. I will not tell them that they're bad people or something, no. But I am talking about the people that have the opportunity that don't go. I cannot emphasize this enough, because this is a time in a life that you will not get back, and you can experience a truly exciting life. And with this, I'm not gonna say like, oh, the study abroad trip will be the only time that you can have an exciting life. You can have an exciting life whenever you want, of course. But the study abroad, in my opinion, is a safe way to achieve an exciting life for at least 6 months. And for me personally, an exciting life is the most important thing in life. So now I would like to talk about some things that I would prepare for if I was gonna go to Mexico with all the knowledge that I have gathered already. So if you wanna go study abroad in Mexico, one of the most important things, which I didn't do by the way, is getting a good grasp of Spanish. Because Mexico, it's not like Spain, it's not like Portugal. There's a huge number of people there who do not speak English, or who only speak English like in a bad way. So please study Spanish. I studied before a little bit, but I could have studied more, and I should have studied more, because this will help you in so many situations. It's also a factor of safety. So if you're lost, that you're able to communicate, or if someone tries to scam you, that you're able to see through that. So if you can, please go and sign up for a course or two and get a good grasp of Spanish. It can literally save your life in Mexico. I would also tell people to prepare financially. So my family is not too well off, so they couldn't support me with my study abroad. The only thing they gave me was 300 euros, but this is nothing for 6 months living in another country. So before I went, I was working in a library for a year. So I was studying and working. And this job was really good, it was well paid, and I had the ability to save almost all of the money. So in the end, I was able to go. I would say that preparing financially is super important, because once you are in a different country, and let's say you have parents that do not have any money to support you, you should be able to pay even for emergencies, because something can always come up. In my opinion, if you are a person who is a shy person and not outgoing, you should try to challenge yourself and try to level up your social skills before you go abroad. Because your social skills will be really vital to your study abroad experience. So I don't think you should start practicing them when you go abroad, even though this is also possible. But you should even prepare your skills and improve them before going. So for instance, let's say you're a little bit more of a shy person and you have a little bit of a problem when approaching new people. You should already sign up for a new social club at uni before you go abroad to practice your social skills. Because when you go abroad, approaching new people, talking to people, and being social is the most important thing that will decide whether you will have a good experience or not. So please do not forget to level up your social skills in all ways. Whatever fears, whatever makes you afraid, challenge yourself and level up slowly, so that once you go abroad, that you're already a person with a high amount of social skills, with a low level of fear when it comes to social interactions, so that you can take the most out of the experience. The thing that I really dislike about Mexico is that you cannot trust the police. Because in Europe, in Germany or the Netherlands, if I see the police, I am not thinking, oh, maybe I'm gonna get robbed, or maybe I'm gonna get beat up or something, you know? But in Mexico, they are so corrupt and they're also dangerous too. Like at UNAM, one girl who was like talking to the police, she got like brutally beat up by the policeman for stupid reasons, you know? I don't want to go too deep into this case because I don't want to go into trouble, but she was innocent and she was beat up quite badly. And this is like an example where this does not happen normally in Europe. In Germany, there's one case in 2005 where something like this happens. There was a black man, and this was in Eastern Germany, and a lot of people in Eastern Germany are super racist. So they saw the black man, he was a little bit drunk. They took him to the police station so he can get sober. And while he was in the police station, the policeman put gasoline on him and put him on fire and killed him for no reason. And up to this day, no one was punished. So yeah, we also have corrupt police in Germany. We also have this in the Netherlands, I believe. But in Mexico, it's a completely different kind of thing. So I would just advise you to avoid the police at all times if you're a foreigner. And even if you're a Mexican person, like, the police can still do harm to you. So this is something that I super dislike about Mexico, because there you have to be on your own, you know, because they are criminals, they are police, and both of them, they're dangerous. So, and the last thing I don't like about Mexico, to be honest, is the bureaucracy, because the bureaucracy is so inefficient. It takes such a long time just for easy documents to get processed, and it's just a slow country when it comes to bureaucracy. And I think this is something that is slowing down progress economically and politically. It is slowing down the progress of the country. But of course, you know, I just want to tell my opinion, and I love Mexico with all my heart, and I will not hate on it, you know. But I just wanted to tell you, like, the things that I do not enjoy about it, because in every place there are things that you don't enjoy about it. But I know that Mexico has a crazy potential for the future, because it has a fairly well-educated population. It has a big population, and compared to Latin America, it has a great economy. Like, with all things aside, like with the narcos, with the corrupt police, whatever, they still look at the numbers. It's a huge economy, and they are developing fast. So I see a big future for Mexico. I love this country. This is the best country I've ever been to. I had the most happiness there. But these are the things I didn't like about it.